Welcome to the 2350 Effect. The 2350 Effect starts.
Well, it's Sunday, and welcome to the 2350 Effect. I am the co-host, collaborator of the 2350 Effect, Damian Kinsey, and I'm always joined by Dr. Farron, who's the co-host and collaborator of the 2350 Effect, the 2350 Network, Work-Life Balance Summit, and so many other things. Dr. Farron, you want to add a little bit more, introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am delighted to be co-hosting the 2350 Effect with Damian, as well as co-collaborating on the Work-Life Balance Summit that's coming up in October. So, and also you can check me out at Creative Living Ideas. So that is my company.
Nice, and we're having a discussion today. If you just joined us, today's topic, as we always have Sunday, we have topics and conversation. It's how to start your day with work-life balance.
Yes. So a lot of you know that the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit is coming up October 3rd and 4th. So you'll get a lot more information when you go to that. But we wanted to talk tonight about just how to start your day with work-life balance and give you some little tips just to get you started with your day. And please feel free, to jump into the chat and add in your tips for people that you do that are helpful for you in order to get you off to a great start and have some great work-life balance. I'd love to thank the people that are already joining us. Jackie, thank you so much for being here. And Christy and Al Chan, thank you so much for joining us tonight. So let's get started with this conversation. So we appreciate you spending your either Sunday evening, Monday morning with us, wherever in the world that you are joining us. We want to get started to honor your time. So gosh, the very first thing that comes to mind for us is having a mindful morning routine. And, it's what is your mindful morning routine like? What do you do in the morning? And maybe you're not, maybe you don't have a mindful morning routine. And maybe this is an area where you might think, this could be a really great place for me to get started with having a better work-life balance. And by mindful morning routine, that means some things like, are you rushing out of the house? Because there's nothing worse for me than to oversleep, which I rarely do, but there have been occasions when I've slept longer than I wanted to, and I just feel off kilter. Like my day just doesn't seem started right. I'm rushing. I might not be in the right order of what I wanted to do things. And so having a specific time that you're waking for that mindful morning routine, or taking some time to practice some type of meditation or some deep breathing, or just some stretches in the morning, just to get your body moving getting your body moving in the morning, or maybe setting some intentions for the day, getting yourself mindful and ready for the day. I think those are important things. Yoga in bed. I was just going to say, Christy, as I have aged, I can't pop out of bed like I used to. When you were a kid or you were younger, you pop out of bed. Now I do a little bit of morning movement with my body, laying in bed, rolling maybe from side to side, moving my ankles, my legs, wiggling around a little bit, then sitting up. So I really have to add a little bit more time into my day. It makes me ease into movement. I love that, Christy. Thank you. The yoga in bed and a morning playlist. You know, Damien, I know that Christy and I talked the other day, and we were talking about something that she has in her house, and you probably have it in yours. It begins with the letter A, Alexa. And you talk to it sometimes in the morning. I bet you can get it to do some type of a morning routine, huh?
Yes, it's definitely a good AI tool to use for a morning routine because it can actually help you. It also can be an alarm and Kickstarter. It can help you with meditation and so many things. Let me know if you have your own AI Kickstarter that starts with the letter A, and you know.
No, I was telling her when we were chatting, I said, because we met for Think Tank Thursday for the 2350 network, and I have one that I've put away and I might get it out. She's got me thinking about how I can use it in my day. So I'm curious to hear if you've got an AI tool, maybe one that begins with the letter A, that helps you kickstart your morning routine. Hi, Noni.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining.
Hey, Noni, how's it going? Hey, Leslie, great to see you as well. For me, I'm definitely an easy, quick starter in the morning. So if my alarm rings once, maybe twice, I'm able to get up quickly. So I've always been able to get up, rather quickly. So I haven't had those real issues with kickstarting my day at all. So
Nice. How about some physical activity in the morning? Another way to do that. So for me, when I say I'm waking up late, and I don't have to be at my day job until 8 a.m. and I work from home, but I get up usually at 5:30. So when I say I've slept in, I might have slept till 6 or 6:15, which has thrown my day off. Okay. Because I like to try to get some physical activity in. Is there any type of thing that you like to do physical wellness, Damien?
in the past, I like to do early morning walks. I know a lot of people out there who like to do early morning workouts, recreation, meditation, walking in place. Walking in place is definitely a good thing that can help kickstart your morning while you're watching the news, watching TV and reflecting on sports. Those are some of the things that can actually kickstart your day. For me, a good thing that I like to kickstart my day is with sports radio. Or sports podcasts and listening to sports and conversation. It kind of gets me in a calm, chill space and talking and thinking rather than me listening to music. Before, at points in time in my life and my career, I used to like listening to music in the morning, but now I just like to listen to, conversation pieces and things that can make me think about the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love that too. One of the things that I just recently started doing was getting back on Clubhouse and doing an audio event and like kind of walking and talking. So it kind of makes me get up and get moving, starting a new kind of habit to add a few more steps into my day. And, I encourage us all, even if we are walking around the house, instead of just, sitting still, sometimes maybe walking and talking, taking a few steps. I think making coffee does count, Leslie, because I'm going to tell you why. My day is better when I program my coffee to start the night before. So I program my coffee and definitely want to wake up to it being done. And I love that. I love just going to the pot or, and pouring that cup and being ready for the day. I love that. That definitely counts. Another thing that I think is important, to think about physical wellness wise, I heard this in an event somewhere and I don't remember where it was, but it's definitely important. A lot of people and I've started doing this and I really like it. We always talk about trying to add more water into our day. Well, the first thing that I do in the morning is drink a glass of water, even before my coffee. Because, our bodies haven't had water. We haven't drank anything for 8 hours of sleep. And so, we need to replenish that and hydrate. So drink a glass of water. Like, even if you just do that to add a little bit more wellness to your day, that one whole glass of water hydrates you. I really do feel better. It does make me feel energized. I think we get dehydrated in the night.
And that's a good point, to drinking water and, the whole thing that people talk about a lot of times, they talk about fasting and breakfast is breaking your fast. That's what it really came from. And having your day start off with a good nutritious breakfast, I like oatmeal in the morning. It's
Mhm.
very good. It's also um filling to me, and I start my day off with that, or fruits or vegetables. I have a lot of energy throughout the day when I'm able to start my day off like that.
Yes. It is hard for a lot of us, some of us, I'm not a big like breakfast eater. Like I could wait to eat breakfast till 10 o'clock, that would be fine with me. So I kind of have to make myself do that. And that is definitely something that I think really helps our day and pre-plan some things that are healthy for us. Starting your day with some eggs, or like I like to make those overnight oats. I actually, from the last summit, I think it was the last summit, when we had a presenter who was giving us some tips about oats and stuff, and she shared to put a scoop of protein powder in it, and it adds more protein in your diet into your day. And so I added that in there, and it's just been really, and it's easy, it's quick. Like you can just grab it out of the fridge and eat it. It's kind of cold, but having things readily available for you that are nice for you to do, easy and quick to have some nourishment for your body, because we have to take care of ourselves, and we forget that sometimes. We forget that. We get the kids ready, we get everybody ready, we get everybody out the door, and then we're like, well, I don't know, I'm just going to grab another cup of coffee and walk out the door with that. So what are we doing for ourselves?
That is so true. Making sure you do for yourself and getting your day going, and it's so important to making sure that your day is going well. Like sometimes you forget to eat. You're
Mhm.
running around, you're doing so much for so many other people, and you forget to do simple stuff for yourself as
Yes.
well. Thanks for joining us as well, Lisa. Great seeing you as well. Because planning is definitely important. Planning the day before, even down to maybe ironing your clothes and putting your clothes out the day before, is a good opportunity for planning. It does save more time. A lot of times getting ready is figuring out what you want to wear during the day. A lot of times it sets people back. So if you plan the night before, you could save so much time.
You
Do
are so
agree.
right. You are so right. I agree completely. Completely. I think that it can be a huge time sucker, when you're getting ready, trying to find the right thing. Especially us women, I feel like sometimes we're looking for the right look or the fit, or this doesn't fit right, and that gets tossed out and thrown on the floor, and we're trying the next pair of pants on or something, and so I think that is true. Being prepared with that is important. Or even sometimes just like thinking it through. Like I don't necessarily have to have them set out, but think it through. What is Monday going to look like? What's the weather going to be like on Monday? What are the things that we're going to need to, is it warm? Am I going to be doing an activity, a community service activity? Am I just in the office that day? I think all of that factors into it. How much am I going to be on my feet? Depends on what kind of shoes I'm wearing, right? And probably everybody. Yeah. Christy, I love that. Yes, Lisa Fevick, I was thinking, here you are, darling. We just finished talking about breakfast. I'm sure you can give some tips in there about some nourishing breakfast that people can have ready.
Well, I'm going to give you a tip. I don't think it's exclusive. Figuring out what you want to wear is exclusive to just females. I think it's everyone. Especially with the weather. Like it was a week when it was 60 degrees, and then it was 80, 90 degrees one day. Like figuring out what you want to wear when the weather is going up and down is a lot. One day you might go in, you thinking that you could wear short sleeve, and you have to wear a jacket and a long sleeve shirt. So that is definitely something to figure out. And I even thought about I asked earlier, and I looked up the weather for tomorrow, because the weather fluctuates so much, to make sure I'm wearing the appropriate clothes to work, and I'm feeling either warm or I'm not over hot. So
Yep. And all of that's even everything we've talked about so far is before you even walk out the door. Before you even
true.
walk out the door, getting yourself ready for some things like that. And so maybe as you're eating your breakfast, I always ate my breakfast in my car on the way to work. So I have to say I'm not the best at that part of sitting down and eating a breakfast, but I always had something on the go. And I still to this day come into my office here and eat my breakfast while I'm checking emails. So I multitask, right? So I start checking some emails, planning my day.
Speaking of checking emails and planning your day as well, it's important to know what you're going to do that day, and it's not exclusive to the work day. So when we're talking about how to start your day work-life balance, it is every day. In planning, like if you're on the weekends and you have somewhere to go and you're like, okay, I have to be there at 2, you have to figure out what time it takes from you to get from your destination to wherever you're going. And you have to account for traffic. You have to make sure if you're driving, you have gas. If you're taking public transportation, that you have your public transportation card. All those things are so important when you're planning your day of when you're going to be there, when are you leaving, how are you going to get in there, and what barriers, obstacles, or responsibilities that you have in place. So those are so much important when you're planning your day. And those preparation of planning and prioritizing your day doesn't happen the morning of, it happens before.
And a backwards design, a lot of times if you have to be at a place, your main place, say 5 p.m., then you design backwards, right? You think it's 5 p.m. that I have to be in my seat at this event. Well, it's going to take me 40 minutes to get there. And then I have to stop and get gas. So I need to make sure that I leave by 4. I've got errands to run. I've got to be home by 3 to be ready to leave by 4. Like you really have to do a backwards design. Start with the end. What's the big event, the moment that you have to be at, and then work your way back throughout the day. And you would be surprised, and set those limits for yourself, when you're sitting there and you're like, this is my limit, because it's so important to be able to do that. It really makes a difference. It really does.
Yeah, it does make a difference.
Mm-hmm. And then that way you think about what do you really want to accomplish in the day? Like Damien said, it's not really just a work day even. It can be a Saturday or a Sunday. What do you want to get accomplished in the day? How much time do you want to spend for yourself in that day? Like think about that. So like personal time. How much time do you want to be sitting on the couch watching some sporting events or a movie or it's your favorite TV show, or how much, I want to make sure that I read this weekend. Well, I've got to carve that time out for myself in my schedule. Where am I going to put that? And that's just as important as getting the groceries for the grocery store and picking out your clothes.
So true. And wow, we're at 17 minutes already, and we share so many tips. Thank you, Lisa. You're definitely right. I'm loving the tips as well. Sharing your favorite work-life balance tips as well to starting your day off for work-life balance also, and dropping any questions that you have in place. Because there's so many things that come into place. You talked about going to the grocery store. A lot of times we know how to get to the grocery store. We either can walk there, we can drive there, and we can get places. Sometimes it's all about utilizing technology. We have a lot of times it doesn't matter how many times we went to a place. There's so many people out there. Drop in the chat in the comments if you can relate to this, who still use their GPS navigation. And a lot of times it's to make sure, you're on time. There's any accidents, there's any alternate routes you can take. Like technology is so important as well, and even technology down to utilizing your cell phone is so important as well. And going places with technology like your laptops and your tablets can also help your day. And AI.
Yeah, it can. And Leslie even put in there, setting timers for herself. Setting timers for herself. So setting alarms for herself. Like, I know I need to be here then. I need to stop this task then, giving yourself a timer is important. And I agree. Instacart. I mean, I try to go to the grocery store literally to get more physical movement since I work from home. But there are weekends or weeknights I have to order groceries because I don't have time, to physically get there. So yeah, and that's a technology piece, right? That's something that's helpful for us. So utilizing technology, and each one of these topics, each one of these points could be an entire episode almost, but we want to give you some very good usable tips. The other thing we want to talk about, I just said, carving some of that personal time out for yourself. What is the interest or the hobby that you want to do? Where are you going to put that into your day? Not just your week, but into your day. And you could put it into your day in a variety of different ways. You could do 15 minutes of just some breathing, or, some intention reading, like maybe like inspiration, like a daily inspirational reading in the mornings. And then you could make it maybe a 10-minute walk on your lunch, where you're just thinking. And then maybe in the evenings you come home and you want to cozy up with a book for a half an hour. I think oftentimes we think these things have to be big things, big events in our day, when they really don't have to be. They can just be 10-minute increments here and there that you're able to build in the things that you are loving to do.
And we talked about technology. Playing time for yourself and making sure you have personal time for yourself can also be drawing boundaries. Like we talked about it. You talk about taking off your smartwatch, putting your phone down, leaving your home office, and same thing with technology, putting alarms on in place of saying, you know what, here's where I'm gonna shut down on my social media. Here's the time when I'm gonna shut down, utilizing the AI. And those things are definitely important in making personal time for yourself. And you also can just use technology to create boundaries to say, hey, I'm going to carve out 20 minutes for myself. You know what? Because we spend a lot of times having social media connections, family, friends, and work. And personal time for yourself is so important as well. And also when you're trying to plan and start your day, you might forget that you need time to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So putting it into your day and your schedule ahead of time is so important.
There's a lot of people that have a hard time being alone. And being alone is different than being lonely. And I think, finding time and finding how to learn to be with yourself is really a skill that people have to learn how to do. And so I love that.
And Alan's talking about, me time is so vital. He's going to be at the summit as well. So check him out also. It's kind of going online with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. It is. It's very true. That me time is so important, and it can be small amounts, small doses, or large doses. And yes, Jackie, thank you for sharing that. It really does. Your morning routines vary depending upon how soon you have to get out of the house. Are you going straight to a meeting? Are you going straight to the office? Do you have to run errands before you get to work, meaning you have to leave earlier? And all of those things happen. But planning for that, even the night before, like we were saying, with maybe having your outfit ready or your clothes ready, or I will oftentimes pack my car. So if I have to get my computer and notes and whatever I need in the car, dry goods, if I was taking something, I would pack my car in that space. And so, or have it ready so that I could just get in the car and go. And that is really helpful. Also family and social connection time, is so critically important. And I love my LinkedIn family, my YouTube family, the people that are here to support us. You all are an amazing social connection for me. I love seeing what's happening in your life and your world and helping you. But it's also, important for me personally to get out and, be amongst other humans in this world. And so, finding that time to socialize during the week. And I often talk about this. You'll hear me say this. I have to set boundaries for myself with that, because I can be a bit of a social butterfly, and that's also exhausting. And so I set those boundaries of how often I go out with friends or see people outside of the home during the week, because needing that time to balance that for myself. And also spending time with your family, or making a quick phone call to somebody who's really important to you. As a very good friend or a family, spending some time just to maybe brew yourself a cup of tea and sit down, or a cup of coffee, glass of water, take a break, put your feet up, and give somebody a call and just check in with them. How are you doing? What are you up to today? Long are those days. I think a lot of those days have passed, but I think it's still important to check in with friends and family.
Yes, I think so too. And the days go by so quickly.
Oh my gosh.
And you'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna reach out to this person, and you get caught up and swept up into other things, and we're like, dang, I didn't reach out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
I think it's important to do that. And, visiting your family, for me, my kids, I spend a lot of time, I guess I shouldn't say I spend a lot of time. I try to see them every week, my kids, it's important to me to have that relationship with them. It fills me up. There's nothing like getting a great hug from your kids or seeing them happy or, listening to their stories of what they did this week and being there for them when they're sad or when they're having a hard day. Like, that's so important to me.
It's great seeing you, Marcia.
Yes. Sounds like you've got a good schedule. You've got a good routine, Marcia. Love it. I love it. I love it. Amazing. One of the things, and you do a lot of commuting. I don't do a lot of commuting. I'm here mostly. But, when I did commute to work, commuting mindfully, thinking about, and everybody has maybe something different that they like. So tell me, if you're commuting to and from work, what do you love the most? Do you love listening to a podcast, listening to an audiobook, listening to the radio? I said radio. I feel like an old person when I said radio, but, in the car, or do you like, just want to just think about the day, like silence,
Yes, for me, I cannot listen to the radio with music in the morning for some reason anymore. I like to listen to, like I said, I like to listen to talk radio. I want to think, or I just want to listen to other people talk, or I can enjoy the silence. Like, even if I'm on like a road trip, I can enjoy silence for hours. So, yeah, so those are some of the things that kind of work for me. Yeah.
I'm giggling because when we're in a road trip, I would say to my husband, well, what do you want to listen to now? What do you want? And he'd say, how about we just listen to the tires for a while? And I take that as, I think that means Tanya, zip it. I think he's done. Oh.
It's nothing wrong with silence. Nothing wrong
with it. No. Oh, amazing. Love that. Another thing to get you, we try to keep these to about 30 minutes just because we want to respect your time. Should we give another one? Another tip?
Yes, we should give one more tip before we talk about
Okay. I'm gonna do this one because I think this is important for a lot of people. Your workspace preparation. Your area where you work, whatever your space looks like, needs to be ready for you. That might mean that you may have to take some time the night before to go to clean it up, to get it organized, to stack up your notes, stack up your papers, go through those Post-it notes that you've written on all week. Do they need to be thrown away? Are they still supposed to be on the desk? Make sure your pens are working, make sure your phone charger is nearby, make sure that you have your calendar and you're ready for the next day. And I think that's really important. I know when I worked in person, I made sure that I had my jacket if I needed it, or a sweater, or, different things nearby, making sure that you have to have your workspace ready for you to come in. And even when I close out this office at the end of a work day, I always make sure that my desk is kind of organized a bit, ready for the next day, whatever notebooks I need out for that next day, chair pushed in. And when I come in, it just looks nice. And you're like, okay, nothing worse than going to chaos, right?
Yeah. Also, I want to add to that. Make sure you have your charger for your computer, laptop.
Yes.
And it's charged and ready to go. Make sure your phone is at full battery. Definitely, I'm sorry, you iPhone people. I don't understand how your battery is always dead. Charge your phone, get full battery. Your battery is always dead. You're always looking for a charger. Charge your battery at the night. Get prepared and ready to go. You use your phone.
I know. I know there are just things like that, right? That really get people flustered and frustrated for the day, and when they're like their computer's dead or they don't know their logins or things like that. So being ready for that. Oh my gosh, Kinga, me too. I love school and office supplies, like just love them. And so I love that. Yes, absolutely. Felipe, I love this. This could be like a whole event, just talking about getting your desk organized for the day. I love that.
Yeah. And Felipe, he was on earlier, him and Noni, they were talking about human resource stuff, Planning your day is definitely so important for spaces like that, Matter of fact, I think you always treat our space like we're in like a human resource environment, Like you talked about having pens, you talked about having paper, a lost artist probably staples and tape, those things, paper clips. Make sure you have those things. And if you're working from home as well, make sure you have something that can be stimulating to your space and bring some level of calm and peace, or something that can center you and have a level of meditation in space as well. Felipe, when I had an iPhone, I made sure that thing was charged all the time because I never wanted to be the person to say, hey, can I borrow a charger? But
Felipe, if I had a nickel for the number of times that he's made an iPhone comment to me, I know. I agree with you, Felipe. If I had a nickel, I'd be a rich woman.
So I think those things are so important as well. And also make sure you if you want to start your day, make sure you're doing the research, you're going out there, you're checking on stuff. Especially like things that we're doing. We're coming up on a professional work-life balance summit, the third installment of it, and we are less than a month away, and it is so much involving it, and we're preparation, just like we're planning. We talked last week about the countdown to the summit. We talked about 10 reasons to attend the work-life balance summit. We're talking about how to start your day with work-life balance. And next week we're gonna be it's Meet the Presenter week, right?
Yes, starting Sunday. Yes.
And people like Felipe will be part of it for Meet the Presenter week as well. Sharon is part of it. Who else is on here? Leslie Flowers, Jackie Holberg, Al, all these amazing people, Lisa Fevick, all these amazing people will be a part of it as well, and so many other things. Dr. Farron, you want to explain more about what the summit is about?
Absolutely. You can go to the Creative Living Ideas website, and all of these links are already dropped into this event tonight. So they're already in there. But you can go to Creative Living Ideas and you can see a little bit more about the event. It's October 3rd and 4th. It's virtual, so you can be at home, or you can do it at work. If you want to have it playing in the background while you're doing some work, or you've got, that sort of thing, grab your ticket for that. You can click down here for tickets. You can click there for tickets. You could read some testimonies here. And then if you go here into this space, this will show you what the Work-Life Balance Summit looks like, and you'll be able to see all of the sessions that we have. And there's Felipe right there, as well as some of our other amazing LinkedIn friends. There's Sharon, there's Jackie, there's Damien, there's Al, there's Leslie, there's Lisa. So we've got a really incredible lineup of people for you all to come and see. So please make sure that you are joining us for the Professional Work-Life Balance Summit. We're excited to have it again this year. This is our third one that we've had. And so it just keeps going and going. And we're excited about it. We're ready for it to begin. And next week, like Damien said, our Meet the Presenter week begins. So let me tell you about that for a minute. Every night at 7 p.m. Central Time, we have a handful of presenters that will be with us, and we'll be talking to them about different things just so that you can get to know them a little bit better. I mean, it makes it more meaningful for you when you come to an event, when you know the presenters and you've learned a little bit about them. And so you'll be just ready to just hit it off with them once the event begins.
Yes, and the links are definitely in the chat as well.
Yes.
And one of the links to the Zoom event one, that's the one that Dr. Farron has on the screen. And this is the link to the Eventbrite. This is definitely a great treat and sale going on. Reach out, check out the page, go to it, visit, give as many visits as possible, share, like, respond to it, and pass it on to people who would definitely benefit from it as well. I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yes, Linda, we're excited that you're going to be with us. I also wanted to just share that if the Creative Living Ideas YouTube channel is on there. So if you can't be live with us on one of the evenings that we have Meet the Presenters and you want to learn a little bit more about them, you can go to the YouTube channel, subscribe to it, and it will give you information. It'll give you a notification when you subscribe if you click the bell of when we're live for anything that we're hosting. So please join us.
Sharon is joining us from YouTube.
Yes, she is joining us from YouTube. So thank you, Sharon, for that.
All right. And thank you, everybody, for joining us as well. We definitely have a packed show next week with 3-4 different presenters, I believe, for the summit.
Yes.
Well. Dr. Farron, you want to close us out with a quote?
I do. I still like this one. I'm just going to keep going with this one for a little while. Had some stickers that I sent to some staff members, and this one says, "Tomorrow needs you." And so if anybody's struggling with anything, I just want to remind you that tomorrow needs you. There are people that need you. And so keep that in mind.
I like that as well. Mm-hmm. So I'll close and leave you with a quote. This is one that came to the top of my head for me. Somebody's going to do it. Why not it be you? So when you're thinking about situations being hard and impossible and difficult, eventually somebody's going to do it. Why not you?
Yeah.
So thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next week with Meet the Presenter Week. Wow.
Absolutely. Bye, everyone. Have a great night.